Hey guys, I know quite a few people that have 1911s that don't know how to strip them down, and my one buddy on YouTube just got himself a 1911, and I thought this would help him out too. So I'm going to show you how to detail strip a 1911. Couple things I want to go over first, and that would be the do nots with a 1911. One is dry firing a 1911. Do not do that. It's not good for the firing pin assembly. You want to do that, you can get yourself a snap cap, put it in your magazine, put it into the chamber, and you can dry fire all you want. The second thing not to do is, if you want to check your, okay, you can see it's clear. If you want to check your slide assembly, do not drop this down on an empty chamber. You want to do that. I don't even use a snap cap for that. I don't think it gives it enough resistance. If you're a reloader, I just load a couple of dummies up, no primer, no powder, put that in the magazine, and you can check your slide stop function. So with that being said, we'll get on with this here. So pretty much everybody knows how to take these down and field strip them, but we'll just take it right from the top here. First thing is you have to get your recoil spring plug out. Some people say, oh, the bushing's real tight, I need a wrench for that. I amazed the guy at the range one day. He had a Wesson 1911 and telling me I couldn't get it out without a wrench, and I said, hey, watch this. So if you just pull this out slightly out of battery, not much, just a little bit, that releases the locking lugs inside on the barrel, and then the plug will just come right out. Okay, so that being done, put the plug on the side there. We can come up to our mark here. That comes out. That is that. Now we can put the frame aside. Recoil spring comes out. This one, I have a little white paint on it. This is a used one that I use just to keep the gun together. The good one I use, I keep out of the gun. I'm doing a test on how long a recoil spring will last. So same thing when you go to pull the barrel out. Just keep it out of battery slightly, and that bushing will pull right out. All right, everybody knows how to do that. So next thing we want to do is we want to take the firing pin stop out. So we're just going to depress this, push the firing pin stop down slightly, put our finger there, and when that comes out, we're safe. Put the stop there, firing pin comes out. Firing pin spring, there is only one way this goes on. It will go on and it will catch onto the firing pin. Now it's secured on there. If you try to put it on the other way, it'll just fall off. So it's going to be the way that it locks onto the firing pin. That's done there. Small screwdriver, just reach in, and the extractor will pull right out like that. Now you have a fully disassembled slide. You can clean this up and get that ready for the next time you go to the range. They get extremely filthy in especially the extractor hole and the firing pin hole from the blowback system. Okay, now we're down to the frame. So we're just going to release the hammer. I'm going to just, I got these screws loosened up, so I can just take them out with a small screwdriver here. And we'll drop them out. There, I should have had these out, open a little quicker, but bear with me. There. And there. Okay, now we can pull. These are the Packmeyer wraparound grips. I like these. They give it a little bit thicker. Actually, I pack it out with a couple pieces of rubber to make it a little fatter for my long fingers. Okay, we have the frame down to that. Now, next thing we want to do, hammer down. We have to push this spring out away from the safety now. That is the spring holding or the pin holding the mainspring right there. That should just push out fairly easy. Sometimes I didn't bring my wood block over here. I'll just lift this up a little bit and I'll just tap that with my hammer. That started. It should just push right on out now. Okay, there's that pin there. You can see it has a small groove in the middle. There's a spring and a little plunger in the middle of that. So there's the mainspring there. Sometimes I do disassemble this to clean it out, but not very often. Okay, so that's done. Next thing we're going to do is go pull the hammer back. Now the safety. This has to be between full on and full off. It has to be in that halfway position, right about there. Once it's there, then you can gently wiggle this up and it'll release the whole system. You have to be careful of this spring right here because that will go flying on you. So I usually just keep a little tension on it as I work this out. So once again, find about the halfway spot. I can usually just get my fingernails under there just a little bit and start to wiggle and find that spot. But the hammer has to be in the full cock position for this to work. There it goes. Now I just kind of keep my fingers close so that spring can't go flying out. Now that comes out. Leaf spring comes out. Beaver tail comes out. Alright, now we can remove our other spring. Alright, now we have the hammer and we have the sear and disconnect in here. Those pins will come out towards us. So, and they're in there fairly loose. So just drop them out like that. Okay, hammer comes out. Then the sear and the disconnect come out. Put them aside. Now we need to get the trigger out, and to get that out we have to remove the mag release, and to do that we have to push the mag release like we're releasing a mag. There's a screw inside. Some of them have Allen screws, some have slotteds. That should go counterclockwise. You'll find a sweet spot. Once you get it, it locks like that. That comes out. Trigger comes out, and that's it. You have a stripped down frame. Now you can get in there and really clean everything out. You'd be amazed how dirty they get inside after shooting a couple hundred rounds. So to put this thing back together, grab our trigger, make sure the angle is faced up like that, short side towards the top of the gun. Drop that in. Here's our mag release. We're going to drop that in. Same thing, you have to push this out. Once you do that, then you go clockwise, and it'll just, once you find a spot, it snaps right in. You're all set with that. Okay, now we can put our spring in here like that, so we don't forget to do that down the road. We can grab our now we need our sear and disconnect. Get ahead of myself here. So our disconnect, the flat portion of this always sits up against the bow of the back of the trigger right there. So that always goes muzzle first, like that. So we put that down with the flat that way. The tip of our spear or sear is going to be up towards the slide. So we take our assembly, never works on camera like you want it to, and drop it on like that. Then what I do is I just take a pair of needle nose like that to grab it. Grab my frame. There's a small hole in there. See that small hole? That's where the disconnect's going to go. I just line that up to that hole and gently just push that in like that. The next thing I do is I take a small jeweler's Phillips. I come in on the opposite side of the hole where the pin's going to go in, and then I just pull the trigger a few times and let it wiggle around. Now everything's lined up. I'll grab that pin and I'll slowly pull the screwdriver until it's about flush. Once that's done, I'll just follow that screwdriver right on out, keeping a little pressure on that screwdriver, and that'll line up everything right there. See? No fighting with it. Alright, we're done there. Now, we'll put our hammer in. So, we'll grab that, line up our pin. This drops in, same side, safety side. Okay. Now what we can do is grab our leaf spring here. Be careful of this. This can get highly tuned, and once you find the right spot, you want to be banging this thing around. I'll do another video on that another day, how to actually fine tune these. So you just get this into the little slot at the bottom and just lay it across all the contact surfaces there. Next thing you're going to do is grab your mainspring, just put a little bit of pressure, drop your hammer down like that, and of course it went into cocked position, and I didn't want it there. Okay, there we go, push it like that. Okay, now the hammer's down, we can back that out a little bit. Idea is to keep a little pressure on that leaf spring so it doesn't move around on us. Okay, next thing we're going to do is get our beaver tail. That will just line up, make sure it's over top of that tang right there. Line that up there. Grab our safety. We'll just get it into the hole, not worried about anything else but getting it started right now. Now for this to work, same thing. You're going to have to cock the hammer, and you'll hear it. Okay, now it's full cocked, and not letting that drop all the way out. Keep a little pressure on that leaf spring. Same thing, we got to find that halfway point. So it's into the window right there. So I'm going to push it down. Now it's in contact with that pin. And what I like to do is grab a small screwdriver that's smaller in diameter than that pin, so I can depress it, but I'll still let it push it down. So let me just guess about halfway, which is about there. Get underneath, keep a little pressure on that in case that spring does bounce out. Now once, oops, see, it tried to bounce out on me. And get that to go back in. Okay, now once again we got to find that halfway spot. Keep it there, and there it is. Pull this out slowly. There it is. Good on that. So we'll take that down out of safe. Now we have our hammer seated into the mainspring. We just push that slightly. That wasn't enough to damage it. And now we get our pin. This one goes back in, same side. This, press in a little bit like that. And sometimes I'll use a punch. Sometimes I'll just take my brass hammer like that. Make that flush. That's all set to go now. There's our main assembly here. Now we have the slide. We'll put this aside. And first thing we do is go take the extractor, line up that slot with the slot inside the slide itself. Get it in. We're going to line those two up. To check it, I'm going to take the firing pin stop, slide it in. Okay, everything's perfectly lined up now. We don't have to take that all the way out. We'll just slide it out some, like that. We can drop our firing pin in, like that. And we can get the firing pin stop. Everything just wants to move on you. Like that. Okay, and then I keep a little pressure on that, and that helps retain that spring. Then I'll just come down with a punch, get it in like so. Once I get past there, in, done. And We can, we'll cock that for now and save time later. We can grab our barrel. Same thing, putting it together, keep it at battery slightly. And now you can go full lock on it. This can go back in to here. And we're there. Make sure that the link's hanging down. It'll make it easier at the end. And slide this unit back together like this. Now the hole's lined up. On my slide release, if this thing will focus for me, I put a small notch right here. That notch will locate on this pin here, because a lot of guys will get that, what they call the idiot scratch, and they have little pads that you can put under there to prevent that. This will lock in on that pin, and all you do is snap it straight down. So we're going to drop that in. See, now a little bit of pressure, that is locked right there. So we just take this back to our assembly notch, like so. Put it on there. And give this a push, like so. Let that come up. And reassembly, same thing. Take it slightly out of battery, because right now it's hard to move that bushing. That's because everything's locked up inside. Take it slightly out of battery and that thing will free up on you. And that's the whole unit there. So that's it, guys. I hope this helps out some guys, and happy cleaning.